Shohei Ohtani just made baseball history again, but this time it has nothing to do with home runs or strikeouts. His New Balance deal is now being talked about the same way people talk about LeBron's Nike contract. That is wild. Baseball players were never supposed to get this kind of money off the field until Shohei changed the rules. So how big is Shohei's New Balance deal really? And could it open the door for other MLB players to finally get NBA level shoe money? Drop your guess in the comments before we get into the numbers. Let me set the scene. For the last 40 years, the shoe game in sports has been an NBA thing. Michael Jordan turned a basketball sneaker into a billion-dollar empire. LeBron James locked in a lifetime deal with Nike that some reports say is worth over $1 billion. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, all of them got the kind of shoe money that makes most CEOs look broke. Baseball was never part of that conversation. Sure, players had cleats deals. Some got a few $100,000 a year. A handful pulled in a couple million, but nothing close to what an NBA star pulls in. Then Shohei Ohtani signed with New Balance, and the whole thing changed. According to Sportico, the report that broke this story open, Ohtani's New Balance deal looks more like a top NBA star's shoe contract than anything baseball has ever seen. That one line should have been the headline of the year. Sportico does not throw out comparisons like that for fun. When they say it lines up with NBA money, they mean real NBA money. We're talking the kind of deal that comes with a signature line, global ad campaigns, custom colorways, and a long-term partnership that pays out year after year. And here is the part that makes it even crazier. New Balance was not the big dog in the shoe game when they signed Ohtani. Nike runs basketball. Adidas runs soccer. New Balance was the underdog brand trying to claw its way into the conversation. They had Kawhi Leonard in the NBA. They had Coco Gauff in tennis. They had some runners and a few smaller athletes. But they did not have a global megastar that could move products in every country on Earth. So they made a bet. They went after the one guy who could open up Asia, the United States, and the rest of the world all at once. They went after Shohei. And that bet paid off in a way nobody expected. Ohtani is now the face of New Balance baseball, and the brand has used him to push into markets they could never crack before. Walk into a sporting goods store in Tokyo, and you will see Ohtani's face on the wall. Walk into one in Los Angeles, and you will see his cleats next to the Yankees gear. Walk into one in Seoul, and his ads are running on every screen. New Balance has gone from baseball afterthought to baseball leader in less than 3 years, all because they bet on Shohei. But this is not just about one company winning. This is about a sport finally getting respect from the marketing side of the world. For decades, brands looked at baseball and said it was too American, too slow, too local. They poured their dollars into the NBA because the NBA is global. The NBA travels. NBA stars trend in countries that do not even have a league. Baseball stayed behind. Even huge names like Mike Trout could never crack the kind of off-field money that mid-tier NBA players were pulling in. Shohei broke that ceiling hard. Let me give you the full picture of his endorsement portfolio because it is honestly stupid how many companies want a piece of him. According to Sportico, Ohtani has roughly 20 brand partners under his name in 2026. 20. Some of them are huge global names. Some are big Japanese companies. All of them are paying real money. Here is who he has lined up. In Japan, his biggest deals are with Japan Airlines, which is one of the most powerful airlines in Asia. He also has Seiko, the legendary Japanese watch brand that has been around since 1881. There is Kowa Company, which is a massive Japanese conglomerate that makes everything from medicine to industrial products. Kosei is one of the top beauty companies in Japan, and they put Ohtani in their ads. Dip Corporation is a recruitment firm, and they use Ohtani as their face. Kirin is one of the biggest beer brands in Japan, and they signed him too. Each of these deals on their own would be a career-making partnership for most athletes. Ohtani has all of them at the same time. In the United States, the list is even more impressive. New Balance is the headliner, but he also has Hugo Boss, which is the German luxury fashion brand. That deal alone puts him in the same room as movie stars and Formula One drivers. He has Fanatics, the sports merchandise giant that handles official MLB gear. He has Topps, the legendary baseball card company where his rookie cards are still selling for tens of thousands of dollars. He has Panini, another big card brand. And then there is Beats by Dre, which is owned by Apple. That deal puts Ohtani in the same marketing universe as global music artists and NBA superstars. When you add it all up, Sportico projects Ohtani will make $125 million from sponsors and memorabilia in 2026 alone. $125 million in 1 year. From endorsements, not from his salary, not from his Dodgers contract, just from companies paying him to wear their stuff and show up in their ads. To put that in context, the number 2 earner among MLB players for endorsements is Aaron Judge at about $9 million. Bryce Harper makes around $6 million off the field. The gap between Ohtani and the rest of his sport is so massive that Sportico's Kurt Badenhausen said the last time there was a gap like this in any major sport was Usain Bolt at his peak. Bolt was making $30 million a year when nobody else in track and field was even sniffing $3 million. Ohtani is doing that, but bigger. The man is making 14 times more off the field than the next baseball player. And here is the kicker. His on-field salary right now is only $2 million a year. That is not a typo. The biggest endorsement earner in sports history is making less in baseball salary than the league minimum for a starting NBA bench player. Why? Because of how his Dodgers contract is set up. He took $680 million of his $700 million deal and pushed it out to 2034. He told the team to hold it. He told them to use the money to build a better roster around him. That is why the Dodgers can afford guys like Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Kyle Tucker. That is why they are chasing a three-peat in 2026. But none of that matters to Shohei's bank account, because his off-field money is doing all the work. The Sportico report is clear. His $125 million endorsement tally for 2026 is not just a record for baseball. It is a record for any active athlete in any sport. That includes LeBron James. That includes Lionel Messi. That includes Cristiano Ronaldo. The biggest names on the planet are now playing second fiddle to a baseball player from a small town in Iwate, Japan. That is the part that should blow your mind. For decades, sports marketing was built on the idea that basketball and soccer were the only paths to global stardom. Baseball players could never reach that level. Now Ohtani has not just reached it, he has passed it. He is the biggest single-year endorsement earner on the planet, and the gap is not even close. So how does this change baseball going forward? A few different ways. First, the next generation of stars is going to see what Ohtani built, and they are going to demand the same kind of money. Young players like Roki Sasaki, Munetaka Murakami, and the new wave of Japanese talent are watching Ohtani's deal numbers and saying, "We want that too." Their agents are watching too. The number one thing an agent does is push for the best deal possible. And now they have a clear comparison point. New Balance and Hugo Boss and Beats are all going to get knocks on the door asking for similar setups for the next batch of stars. Second, the brands themselves are paying attention. For years, big brands ignored MLB because they thought the audience was too American. Now they see what Ohtani has done in Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. They see the merch flying off shelves. They see the Instagram numbers. They see the television ratings. And they are starting to think maybe baseball is not the closed-off market they assumed it was. Maybe there is real money in being the face of the sport. Expect more global brands to come back to MLB and start writing bigger checks to younger players. Third, the shoe game in baseball just got serious. New Balance jumped in early on Ohtani, and now they look like geniuses. Nike, Adidas, Puma, Under Armour, all of them are watching. They are going to start chasing the next Ohtani, whoever that turns out to be. They are going to put real money into baseball cleats and apparel because they see how much value Shohei has built. The next 10 years of baseball shoe deals are going to look completely different from the last 40 years. Now, let's talk about why New Balance worked so well for Ohtani specifically. The deal was smart on both sides. New Balance got an athlete who is loved in every market that matters to them. Ohtani got a brand that was willing to give him room to grow and design power that bigger brands rarely hand out. He has helped design his own cleats. He has input on colorways. He has a say in the marketing campaigns. That kind of creative control is rare, and it shows that New Balance treats him like a true partner instead of just a billboard. There is also the Japan factor. New Balance has been growing fast in Japan for the last decade. Tokyo and Osaka shoppers love the brand for its quality and its style. By signing Ohtani, New Balance basically locked up the entire Japanese sports apparel market for the foreseeable future. Every Japanese kid who plays baseball wants Ohtani's cleats. Every Japanese fan wants his merch. Every Japanese parent is willing to spend on New Balance because of him. That is a marketing pipeline that no amount of paid advertising could buy. And then there is the United States piece. Ohtani is on the Dodgers, the biggest baseball market in the country and the second biggest sports market overall. Every Dodgers game is a New Balance commercial. Every All-Star game appearance is a New Balance commercial. Every postseason run is a New Balance commercial. The brand gets billions of impressions a year just from Shohei doing what he normally does on the field. Compare that to a typical baseball shoe deal. Most MLB players get a flat fee from Nike or Adidas. The brand sends them cleats and pays them a small annual amount to wear them. There is no signature line, no custom colorways, no marketing power. The player is just walking advertising. Shohei broke that model. He turned a baseball shoe deal into a real partnership, where he is part of the product and the brand's growth story. That is the NBA model. That is what LeBron has with Nike. That is what Steph has with Under Armour. Now, Ohtani has it with New Balance, and the baseball world has to catch up. There is one more piece worth talking about. The Sportico report mentioned that even though Ohtani's endorsement money is huge, it still trails behind some retired legends. Tiger Woods earned about $160 million on an inflation-adjusted scale at his peak. Michael Jordan still pulls in around $300 million a year from his Nike royalties. Those numbers are massive. But here is the difference. Tiger and Jordan are global icons after decades of work and a perfect storm of timing. Ohtani is doing it right now, in real time, in a sport that was supposed to be too small to support these kinds of deals. If he keeps this pace for another 5 or 6 years, he could easily catch and pass both of them. The other thing to keep in mind is that Ohtani is only 31 years old. He has at least 7 or 8 more prime years left, maybe more if he stays healthy. His off-field money is going to grow every year because new brands keep coming to the table. Asian markets keep expanding. His World Series runs keep adding to his legend. Every time the Dodgers play a big game, his market value goes up. The $125 million number for 2026 might look small in 2 or 3 years. And if he wins the Cy Young this season on top of his MVPs, expect another round of big brands to come knocking. Watch brands, car brands, tech brands, maybe even a video game company. The ceiling is wherever Shohei decides to stop. So what does all of this mean for baseball? It means the sport finally has its global superstar who can compete with the biggest names in any league. It means MLB no longer has to feel small next to the NBA or the Premier League. It means the next generation of players has a clear path to the kind of money their predecessors never dreamed of. It means the shoe game, the watch game, the airline game, the fashion game, all of those games are open to baseball now. Ohtani kicked the door down and the rest of the sport gets to walk through it. New Balance saw it first. They paid for it first. And now they are reaping the rewards. Every other brand on the planet is wishing they had moved sooner. But Shohei picked his partner, and that partner went all in. The result is the biggest shoe deal baseball has ever seen, and a marketing story that is going to be studied in business schools for years. That is how one player changed an entire industry. That is how a guy from Iwate, Japan ended up with NBA shoe money. That is the power of Shohei Ohtani. That is the full story of how Shohei's New Balance deal flipped the baseball marketing game on its head. He went from a Japanese rookie nobody knew to the highest earning athlete on the planet, and the shoe deal is at the center of it all. Hit the like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more Ohtani coverage.